All right. We'll get going, man. Yo. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. You know what I mean? Just gonna get the switch up. We're going, hey, look. The beat you about to hear, or the beat you were hearing, but the beat you about to hear, Ninth Wonder, Flow for Days. You heard? Flow for Days. Okay? It's just instrumental. Very powerful. Okay? My jam. Right? 3, 2, 1, and go. Hey, look. Yeah, welcome back. All right. ISCSDR, Independent Sovereign City State Democrat Republic here. This is R, giving it to you live. EMF represent. What's up, franchise? Okay. But look, again, I'm here in the Independent Sovereign City State, the Democratic Republic. Here to give you what's real. Okay. It's happening on the outside world. Because again, here on the inside, we overstand. All right. And essentially this is what this this newscast is going to be about. Overstanding. All right, as opposed to understanding. You hear me say overstand a lot. Some people may not know what that means, but I'm here to go ahead and inform you that today on what the definition of to overstand means. Okay. Does that make sense? Got a little something here, you know what I'm saying? Getting jacked. So look, hey, first things first. Again, I've been doing this project month and a half, maybe. Okay, on and off. I should be more consistent every day, but hey, the daily thing is kind of in the way of other daily things that I have going on. Okay, so instead I post as much as I can, as often as I want to, because my independent sovereign city state. But more importantly, to be able to exercise my ability to speak, convey information, relay information, those that I have found, those that are also recycled, okay, to an individual crowd that may understand. Okay, so my Solvenites that are listening and tuning in, hey, that's what it's for. Okay, you should be able to listen to this and break this down and have to put it in real time for yourself, so that way you can better yourself in your life. Makes sense? Pretty simple. So, look, there's a lot of things going on in the news. All right, typically I focus on political, social, and scientific, but again, I'm just gonna focus on the ability to overstand the occurrences of your outside world, because that's exactly what here in the ISCSDR is what we do. Okay, I want to explain the difference between understanding and overstanding. Okay, understanding and overstanding. Okay, if I tell you that for example, for the least example, okay, the first base example is if you have kids, all right, and they are leaving the lights on in the household, and you tell them, hey, don't leave the lights on because that costs me money. And they say, yeah, I understand. Okay. That's you understanding something. You've gotten a command. You've gotten a basic reason. It's not even an in-depth reason. It just costs somebody money. That's someone that understands. Okay. And they're saying, hey, yeah, that makes sense if I leave the lights on. You know, it's a light bill that they receive, that my parents receive, and they have to pay it. Okay, that's an understood statement. All right, I'll take that same example. In order to overstand that same example, you have to understand one, the basics, which is, hey, okay, first you have to go through a process of understanding, okay, in order to overstand. So what that means is when these kids do process this, or an individual processes this, and I'm a roommate, for example, and my roommate says, hey, look, it's in my name. I got to pay these bills for the lights. Don't leave the lights on. All right. In order to understand that, I comprehend that, okay, look, this person pays money for the lights. All right. In order to start the process of overstanding, all right, you look at essentially you get to the point where you look at where these lights are coming from, why this person particularly has to pay this bill, and who is billing them. Okay, so the first process of that is to say, hey, lights, if I leave them on, this person gets billed. Who or how, right? So you look up an electrical grid, okay, and see who is the supplier of the electricity of the household. We can just take it basic, of the house. Who is the supplier? If you're in, I don't know, Wisconsin, you can say Wisconsin Electric. All right, Wisconsin Electric supplies the electricity to keep these lights on. So my roommate has to pay Wisconsin Electric. That is the first step of understanding. Now, the second step of understanding is also understanding how many other options does my roommate have for electricity. Okay. If you do find that Wisconsin Electric is in fact one of two in the entire state that provides electricity, you are in the process of overstanding. You're overstanding the part that, hey, look, electricity is monopolized. If you don't know what that is, or you can also look that up in your process. But you say, hey, that's ridiculous. There should be more options. And the other option is essentially the same price, if not a little bit less, or a little bit more. Okay. That leads you to another process. And again, the next process I kind of went forward with is your ability to know how many companies are in there controlling the electricity there. Okay, you don't necessarily need to know how electricity is made, but you do need to know who is supplying it and how many suppliers there are. That way you can you can overstand. You can say, hey, roommate, yeah, I won't leave the lights on. One, because my roommate has to pay for it, but two, because we really don't have another option for electricity. There's only two. And even if I did tell them, like, hey, look, you don't have to pay that much, it really doesn't matter, because it's only two suppliers of electricity in the whole state. Okay. The other process of overstanding is to take that understanding. Remember, these are all things that you may not be able to change. Take that understanding and to go to another level in saying, how do I make my own electricity? Or how am I not able to, how can I go without electricity, for example? Okay. And the only reason we get there, and this is a true thing, the only reason we get there is because we do not have the discipline. We create the contingencies in case we do not have the discipline to stop using the lights. Okay. So if again I wake up one day, I'm like, dang, I keep cutting these lights on. The bill is always $400. Something's gonna get cut off, and then eventually your lights get cut off. At that point, a contingency comes in your brain, pops in your head, and says, hey, what can we do besides electricity? Why is this such a monopolized commodity here? Why do I have to, you know what I'm saying? So the part of overstanding is to again approach the roommate and say, hey, look, what about a generator? Oh, hey, look, what about stored battery energy? Flashlights. What about candles? You see what I'm saying? That's a process of overstanding. All right. We could take another example, something that's even more pertinent, which is the social and I'll just say the socio-political world. Okay, that's a real thing. It's where the social and political world is combined. What that means is if you are not in a social status, you cannot gain power in your sovereign city-state of Democratic Republic, independent sovereign state Democratic Republic. Okay, if you're not in a social status, it shouldn't be like that. What should happen is you have to actually get into a political position and work your way up in a political position. But instead, people will not even let you in a socio-political world. People will not even let you in a position of power, or even process up to a position of power because of your social works, your social behavior. Okay. Prime example, if I'm homeless. All right, if I'm a homeless person on the side of the street, it don't matter if I'm the best talker or if I have 20 PhDs. If someone sees me and I'm sitting on the side of the street, it would have to be a course of luck for someone to pick me up and turn me into a mayor. It's very, very low percentage, and the percentage is getting even lower as generations pass. Okay, so anyway, in order to understand the socio-political world, you first have to understand the basic works of it. Okay, so we can take race, for example. It's just a simple thing. All right, we can take race, the divide that happens between blacks and whites, or browns and minorities and white people and majorities. All right, you can understand and say, yeah, the basics, slavery, right? You can say police brutality. See what I'm saying? That's an understanding, but you're not overstanding. You're not essentially figuring out the why, not even the how. You're just taking an event and understand that you don't do that. Okay, so I'm a policeman, I kill a black person. Hey, don't do that. That's understood. All right, yeah, people still do it, but if I'm a white person, I don't say the N-word. Hey, don't do it. See what I'm saying? And that's an understanding. Okay, but to overstand is to, again, go through the steps to understand. All right, there are levels to understanding in order to get the overstanding on why the N-word is not popular, or why blacks shouldn't be shot by the police. Okay, you first, I'll take the police for example. You first look up the history of policemen. Okay, look up the history of policemen and minorities, and you can see that whenever the first police patrol or organization was started, what its purpose was started, what it was started for, and who it was started by. Again, that's the thing. Okay, who was the police started by? Was it started by black people? It wasn't. It's not. Was it started by an American? Hey, you can look at that. Was it started by foreigners? You can look at that as well. Was it started by European foreigners? Okay, but again, you are in the process of overstanding, meaning that if the police were started by Americans, you can then look up the American history of things and look up the position of power and see how many were represented in another color. And then you can understand, all right, you can have an overstanding of what it means when police shoot a black person. If you get what I'm saying, okay? The understanding part, again, comes in steps. All right, if the police were started by a foreign entity that was European, all right, or if most of the positions of power were last names, again, you have to understand the making of the socio-political world. If most of these last names are foreign, or most of these last names are American, you can see what, or if there's a blend of them, which there is. There's a blend, 50-50 or 60-40, 70-30, whatever it is, all right, of the same color, but from a European region, or a region where majority of these people are white. Okay, and you can understand that, or you can overstand that these people are in a group together. Okay, it's a long thing. All right, and we'll take the N word. We'll take the same word for example. Okay, some people say we should use it. Some people say we don't. Some people say Asians can use it. Some people say they don't. Some people say Spanish people can use it. Some people say Latinas. Some people get it. Some people say they don't. Okay, personally, me, any person of melanin color, any person that's brown, any person that's yellow, okay, anything that's not white, all right, can use this word. Okay, Arabic can use this word. All right, and that takes an overstanding to know why. Okay, it really does, because you can understand that the word can't be used as derogatory as slavery. But when we go back, and again, you look at who were the people that were running this, who were the people that were running the slave economy industry. All right, who were the people that were paying them, that were in conglomerates with them. Okay, and we're not going to take slavery as its basic definition, because that's just understanding. Again, you got to understand what slavery is. All right, when it comes to westernized slavery and the rest of the world's version of slavery. Okay, I'm not going to get really deep into that, but there's some things that are servitude and some things that are actually slavery and actually brutality that's in that, demeaning, non-inhumane types of things, all right? And there's some that's just servitude to get to a certain point, and then you are now welcome part of the family, okay? So again, that takes overstanding. So when you're looking at that word, and we can take it even more simply, when you're looking at that word and the way that it's used in context throughout history, okay, you can understand why it shouldn't be used, but you can overstand specifically why majorities cannot use it, because that word is not necessarily just the N-word, nigga, is not necessarily just a word. All right, it is an action in words. All right, forget the actual definition of that, but it is a okay. It could be a verb. We can take adverbs. Honestly, it can be any of those grammar terms, the noun, pronoun, whatever it is. It was used in any context to make sure that whatever person you actually are, whatever human you actually are, instead of calling someone a human, or instead of calling someone a by their name, they would use that. Okay, and when I say they, I mean the majority. I mean whites. Okay, now to understand why black people use it, or people of melanated color use it, is because that nigga is a word that that is used to demean and by the majority, by the white people. Okay, by whites. All right. But for every other minority, you have to understand that they are already being demeaned. They've been demeaned all their lives, or from the beginning of the British Empire. Okay, with not just words in different contexts, with not just words, but industry, okay, economy, social, political, even religious means. They have been demeaned. Anything that you hold dear to originally, they have come in, they've taken, they've replaced with their own version of things. Whites have the British Empire, okay, and there's a sense of shared shared struggle in that, in the word nigga. It's a sense of shared struggle that black people like. Okay, we can say it anytime we want. We can do whatever we want. All right, we've taken that word and made it so that it doesn't necessarily empower us. I'm not gonna say it empowers somebody, but it lets you know that shit is still going on, that you're still being demeaned, and it's in a sense of brotherhood. It's the same thing as when Marines call each other devil dogs, or when navies call each other seamen or shipmate or anything like that. All right, it's the same thing as if you call your cousin a fuckhead. All right, that's just what y'all. Hey, what's up, fuckhead? What's up, fuckhead? It's the same thing. You know you're in the same bullshit day to day. You know you are, and you know you act the same in the same bullshit. All right, but it's a sense of brotherhood again. I'm a Marine. I have a last name, right? You can call me by my last name. You can call me by my rank. See what I'm saying? You can call me by my rate, but instead you call me devil dog. All right, it can be seen as demeaning, but you do it out of love, out of brotherhood. Okay, because you know that you're in the same bullshit, that was caused by whites. All right, now me, as for that same example, Marines, can a Navy person go up and say, "Hey, devil dog," and then be called devil dog back? No, they can't, because you're not in the same shit. You're not in the same bullshit. Your Navy training was not the same as my bullshit. Your Army training was not the same as my bullshit, jarhead. You see what I'm saying? It's not the same thing. All right? That's the overstanding of it. But you first have to understand how much bullshit it's been. Because honestly, those Marines have go through a lot of bullshit, and you need to overstand that. Any military goes through a lot of bullshit, and no civilian would understand. That's why people are getting so grimy over the fact that a military person wants to get a discount somewhere. Your fucking homeless ass is not the same as you getting fucking verbally, mentally, physically, and emotionally fucked up almost daily. Yeah, almost daily by someone who's can be younger than you. You 20 something years old, you got an 18-year-old fucking your ass up. You are or you're 18 getting fucked up by some 30-year-old. Okay? Or even by some foreign people you never even knew. And this is a culture shock. Does that make sense? So that's really the difference between understanding and overstanding. I needed to verbally speak that and maybe relay that to my fellow sovereignites, because it's an issue of today, a huge issue. And I think that that more people are concerned with the word woke and not knowing exactly what that may mean. It's okay to I think what's happening is they're upping the level of understanding, but they're not necessarily still overstanding. All right, you're not fully woke until you're able to transcend to the fourth dimension of things. All right. Right now we may still be in the second dimension of yes and no. All right. Hey, is this good? Yeah. Is it not good? No. But then you just believe it. You go about your day. That's two-dimensional shit. Okay? That's very two-dimensional. All right? I'm going to finish you off. All right? I'm going to leave you a little bit of relaxation, meditation. All right? Inhale, exhale. You want to get all the oxygen to your brain, all the oxygen to your cells. Okay? Let them grow. Just so you know. All right? DJ right now is Joey Badass Waves. Joey Badass Waves. Very funky beat, very smooth beat. All right? Hey, look. Peace, love, and use your head for more than a hat rack.